I'm pretty sure if you ask majority of the Washington Commanders fan base, they'll tell you the dream is to bring the team back to DC, more specifically the RFK site. However, with the recent plans to renovate and upgrade Capital One Arena that is going to cost the city roughly over $500 million, DC is set to be in $1.7 billion in debt by the year 2030. So can they even afford to build a new Commander Stadium? Let's watch and find out.
How I feel? Relax. What I want?
Get back slow. I love the way she rock it. I love the way she move it, shake it on me. When she cry for him, the shawty is the winner. You can tell that shawty's no beginner. She's confident. I love the way she move it.
YouTube, what's going on? It's your man Gotti here. Before we get to it, I want to let you guys know I'm giving away 5 Jaden Daniel jerseys when I reach 7,000 subscribers. So if you want a chance at winning one of them, all you got to do is be a subscriber to the channel. And it doesn't hurt following me on Instagram too if y'all have it, because that's also free. All right, let's get to the video, and I'll give my opinion and comments after. Let's get it.
Well, for fans who want to see the Washington Commanders return to the RFK site, D.C. getting control of that federal land is only the first hurdle. The district still has to figure out how to help pay for a new stadium. A WUSA 9 investigation reveals after approving $500 million of renovations to Capital One Arena, D.C.'s government is virtually out of borrowing power. As our chief investigative reporter Eric Flack found out, that means the city will have to get creative to turn RFK dreams into reality.
Jacksonville, $775 million. Chicago, $900 million. Tennessee, $1.2 billion. That's how much local taxpayers are being asked to kick in for new football stadiums. So how much would Washington Commanders owner Josh Harris need from D.C. government to bring the city's most popular franchise back to the district? Hopefully, not as much as those other cities.
According to the data we got from DC's chief financial officer, the city is on pace to be $1.7 billion in debt, which includes that $500 million the city just shelled out for renovations at Capital One Arena. That would put the city right up against its limit on debt, which is based on DC law. It certainly doesn't seem like there's a lot of money for a football stadium.
But again, there are a couple of other ways you have to look at this.
Former D.C. council member Jack Evans spearheaded the district's deal to borrow more than $500 million to build Nationals Park in 2006. His consulting firm was one of 2. D.C. paid a total of $400,000 to study how D.C. could fund a new Commanders stadium. He says the study, which focused on successful stadium funding models locally and nationally, was completed in mid-March. But months later, D.C. government still hasn't released the results.
I would say the overall conclusion is that sports stadiums actually produce enormous revenue for the cities. You'll have economists say it never does anything, and in some cities it doesn't.
Evans says D.C. is different. Nats Park, which revitalized Navy Yard, is paying off its debt far faster than planned. Evans says there's one key to making a football stadium a financial win for D.C.
So there's so much that a domed football stadium can do for a jurisdiction.
I hear you saying your research says a dome stadium is in fact the way to go if we're going to do this.
That's what we should do, because you can use it year round.
Evans said a potential alternative to taking out bonds to help pay for a new football stadium is to create a special taxing district around the RFK site.
The Office of DC's chief financial officer told us the city's current debt figures are only a, quote, snapshot in time, and what the district can afford to borrow right now is not the same as what the district might be able to afford to borrow either 1 or 2 or 3 years from now. But of course, though, things would have to change, or they would have to get creative about the financing if they were going to kick in any meaningful amount of money on an RFK stadium.
Yeah, so we heard from Mayor Bowser before. She says she wants the Commanders back in D.C. at the RFK site. Yep. She wants to make it happen. So is her office commenting, or the team for that matter?
No, they said they're not commenting, which was really kind of no surprise. We have reported in the past that owner Josh Harris has proposed a privately funded new basketball arena for his team in Philadelphia, but he also told our Chick Hernandez during Super Bowl week, football stadiums are a lot more expensive than basketball stadiums. He's, of course, still considering sites in Maryland and Virginia.
Alrighty, y'all. So that is the video right there.
Yeah, as well.
Let's see. Let's talk about it now. I had to close it out. All right. So they're not necessarily saying it totally is out of the realm of possibility for DC to get the team back, but it is going to be a little bit more challenging, and you got to find ways to get creative because now you're dishing out this money to Capital One Arena, and you have obviously other things going on, and more so than anything else that I think could help Washington get the team back in DC is building it on the RFK site. Because I mean, I'm not really sure where right now that I could think besides that place, RFK, that they could build it at. And then as you spoke, as the positive goes, if you build the stadium, trust me, you're going to make your money back. Trust and believe that. Like, especially if the team is winning. I think that's also another thing that has kind of suffered the team history, and I guess the funding is that we haven't won. So no one's buying merch. No one wants to go out to the game. But if you start winning, if you build a state-of-the-art kind of stadium and it's a dome, we're going to be there. It's going to be a year-round thing like you already said, so you can have concerts, stuff like that. So I do think if Washington wants to bring it back to D.C., they'll make their money back more clearly. However, another thing that I just thought about, if they want to kind of take the cheaper way out and don't want to spend the money, or quite frankly can't afford to because, again, you don't have the money or it doesn't seem like you do without getting creative, take the Jaguars route and just knock down FedEx Field and build a state-of-the-art field or stadium right there in Landover. Now, I know a lot of people don't like the location of the stadium because, like, I don't know, it's hard parking or whatever. It just doesn't look like a stadium belong. I'm going to be real with you. Every time I go to FedEx Field, regardless if the team is good or bad, and regardless of the rails and it just looking old or whatever and falling apart, I've always had a good experience there. The area isn't too bad for me. Maybe I'm a little biased because it ain't that far from my house, but, like, it just always had a good experience there, to be honest with you. So I'm thinking, like, if we could just build something fresh on the grounds of FedEx Field, that also could be a possibility if you don't want to take the most expensive route. However, I'm not opposed to it being in DC. In fact, I believe it belongs in the city, and that's where it should go because that's the team. So don't worry about not making your money back, DC. You're going to make your money back, especially if the team is good. Now, I don't know about the Wizards. I don't know about the Capitals. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how y'all going to make y'all money back from reinventing, upgrading their situation. But our situation is different. If we're good, we'll make y'all money back. Nah, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding about the Wizards and Capitals. But nah, yeah, I genuinely think, like, that shouldn't be a worry. I think the only worry is how you can pay to start the process of building a stadium. So, again, it's not a full guarantee that the team will go back to D.C., as Josh Harris is considering Virginia and Maryland still. So, if he wants to take the cheaper route out, don't blame him. Just build it there on the grounds of FedEx Field instead of going back to D.C., where it's probably going to cost you a lot more, and you probably ain't going to be able to afford it because of the city being in debt by the year of 2030, potentially. Now, I'm going to stop saying we have no ownership in our teams because as I get older, I'm realizing the city, D.C. or Maryland, the Prince George's County is paying, the citizens is paying taxes on the stadium for it to be good. So technically we do have ownership in the team. Hey, I don't know. Let me know what y'all think about this video down below in the comment section, though. Do you think that DC can afford to bring the team back to the city? Or are they going to have to explore other options, Maryland, Virginia? Let me know your thoughts and comments down below. And don't forget, once we reach 7K, I'm giving away 5 J and Daniel jerseys. So if you want a chance at winning one of them, all you got to do is be subscribed to the channel. And it doesn't hurt to follow me on Instagram, too, as we're almost at 800 followers over there. Y'all have a blessed one. Stay safe. Peace.
Never gave up on me. Ballin' like I'm Deshaun, throw the bomb, G. That's IG, my jersey never seen a lawn.